Hey there, welcome back. I'm really excited you're here because we just got some major breaking news that could significantly impact Social Security recipients across the country. We're talking about an announcement regarding a potential $4,018 boost to Social Security benefits, and this is the kind of news that affects over 70 million Americans who depend on these payments every month. This isn't just another campaign promise or political talking point. We're looking at specific policy proposals that could fundamentally change how Social Security benefits are calculated and distributed. But here's what makes this announcement particularly significant right now. The timing comes as Social Security faces ongoing funding challenges. Inflation continues to erode purchasing power for seniors, and there's mounting political pressure from both parties to address the adequacy of current benefit levels. We're looking at proposals that go beyond typical cost of living adjustments and into territory that could represent the most substantial Social Security changes in decades. Here's the part that makes this situation both exciting and complex. While this $4,018 figure represents a substantial potential increase, the details of how it would be implemented, who would qualify, and when it might actually happen are still being worked out. On top of that, there are funding mechanisms to consider, congressional approval requirements, and timeline considerations that could determine whether this becomes reality or remains a proposal. Plus, there are different interpretations of what this number actually represents and how it would affect individual recipients. So yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. And before we dive into exactly what this announcement means and how it could affect your monthly payments, let me ask you something. When you hear about potential Social Security increases of this magnitude, what's your biggest question? Are you wondering if it's really possible, when you might see the money, or whether there are catches you should know about? Drop a comment below and let me know what you're thinking. I read every single one, and your questions help me focus on what matters most to you. And if this kind of breaking policy analysis is valuable to you, please hit that subscribe button so you never miss major announcements that could affect your financial future. Now, let's break down exactly what this $4,018 Social Security boost announcement actually means and how it could work. The $4,018 figure explained. This number appears to reference the maximum potential Social Security benefit for someone who retires at full retirement age after working for 35 years at the maximum taxable wage base. Currently, the maximum monthly Social Security benefit for someone retiring at full retirement age in 2025 is approximately $3,822. The $4,018 figure would represent an increase to this maximum benefit level. What this could mean for average recipients: while $4,018 represents the maximum possible benefit, the vast majority of Social Security recipients receive much less. The average monthly Social Security payment is currently around $1,900. If this proposal scales proportionally, average recipients could see increases of several $100s per month, though the exact amounts would depend on individual work histories and current benefit levels. Implementation structure. Based on the announcement details, this wouldn't be a flat $4,018 payment to everyone. Instead, it appears to be a restructuring of the benefit calculation formula that would raise the maximum benefit to $4,018 while providing proportional increases to all beneficiaries. This means your individual increase would depend on your current benefit level and work history. Timeline considerations. Major Social Security changes typically require congressional approval and have extended implementation periods. Even if this proposal moves forward quickly, recipients would likely see a phase-in period rather than immediate implementation. The announcement suggests a target implementation date, but the actual timeline would depend on legislative approval and administrative preparation. But here's where the political and practical realities get complicated, and why this isn't guaranteed to happen. Congressional approval required. Social Security benefit increases of this magnitude require legislative action. While the administration can propose these changes, Congress must approve the funding mechanisms and structural modifications needed to implement them. This means the proposal faces all the usual political hurdles of major legislation. Funding mechanisms. Increasing Social Security benefits to these levels would require additional revenue sources. The announcement includes proposals for raising the payroll tax cap, modifying the tax treatment of higher earners, and potentially adjusting other aspects of Social Security financing. These funding changes would need congressional approval and could face significant opposition. Budget impact. A boost of this size would represent a substantial increase in federal spending on Social Security. Budget hawks and fiscal conservatives are likely to oppose such increases without corresponding spending cuts elsewhere or significant revenue increases. The political math for passage could be challenging. Trust fund implications. Social Security's trust funds are projected to face shortfalls in the 2030s. Some policymakers argue that expanding benefits before addressing long-term solvency is fiscally irresponsible, which could complicate efforts to pass this type of increase. Now let's talk about what this could mean for your personal financial situation if these changes actually happen. Individual benefit calculations. Your specific increase would depend on your current Social Security benefit level. If you're currently receiving $2,000 per month, a proportional increase that raises the maximum to $4,018 might boost your payment by $200 $300 monthly. However, the exact calculation would depend on the specific formula changes proposed. Effective dates. Major Social Security changes typically include transition periods. Even if approved, you might not see the full increase immediately. The implementation could be phased in over several years, with partial increases beginning sooner and the full amount reached over time. Tax implications. Higher Social Security benefits could push some recipients into higher tax brackets or make more of their Social Security income subject to federal taxes. The announcement includes provisions to address this, but the details would need to be worked out in the final legislation. Impact on other benefits. Increased Social Security benefits could potentially affect eligibility for other means-tested programs like SNAP, Medicaid, or housing assistance. The proposal includes protections to prevent this, but the interaction between programs can be complex. Here's what makes this announcement particularly interesting from a policy and political perspective. Election cycle timing. Major Social Security announcements during election periods often face scrutiny about whether they're genuine policy proposals or campaign positioning. The timing could affect how seriously lawmakers and the public take the proposal. Bipartisan appeal. Social Security is generally popular across party lines, but the funding mechanisms for major increases often create political divisions. The success of this proposal could depend on finding bipartisan support for both the benefits and the revenue sources. Advocacy group response. Major senior advocacy organizations like AARP have been pushing for Social Security expansion for years. Their support could provide crucial political momentum, but they'll also scrutinize the details to ensure the proposal genuinely helps beneficiaries. Economic context. The proposal comes amid ongoing discussions about inflation, cost of living pressures on seniors, and the adequacy of current Social Security benefits. The economic arguments for expansion are strong, but so are concerns about federal spending and debt levels. Now let's address some of the challenges and potential obstacles that could affect whether this actually becomes reality. Legislative calendar. Congress has limited time and attention for major legislation. Competing priorities, procedural hurdles, and partisan politics could delay or derail even popular proposals like Social Security expansion. Administrative capacity. The Social Security Administration would need to implement major changes to their systems, procedures, and operations to handle benefit increases of this magnitude. Their current capacity constraints could affect implementation timelines. Opposition interests. Various interest groups oppose Social Security expansion for different reasons. Business organizations might oppose the payroll tax increases needed to fund expansion, while fiscal conservatives might oppose any benefit increases without addressing long-term solvency. Technical complexities. Social Security's benefit calculation formulas are extremely complex, and major changes require careful analysis to avoid unintended consequences. The technical details of implementing these changes could create delays or complications. But there are also some positive factors that could help this proposal succeed. Public support. Polling consistently shows strong public support for Social Security expansion across party lines. This creates political pressure for lawmakers to support popular proposals, especially during election periods. Demonstrated need. The purchasing power crisis facing seniors is well documented and increasingly difficult to ignore. Many current Social Security recipients struggle to afford basic necessities, creating a strong policy case for benefit increases. Precedent for action. Recent successful legislation like the WEP and GPO repeal shows that major Social Security improvements are possible with sufficient political will and organization. Revenue options available. Unlike some previous expansion proposals, this announcement includes specific, viable funding mechanisms that don't rely on general revenue or deficit spending. Thanks for staying informed about this potentially game-changing announcement. Whether this becomes reality or remains a proposal depends largely on political developments over the coming months, but it represents the kind of major social security expansion that advocates have been pushing for years. Stay engaged, stay hopeful, and keep advocating for the benefits you've earned. I'll see you in the next update as this story continues to develop.